You know the drill. Kung Fu Panda's a 2000s animated family movie, so of course it has a tie-in video game.
Of course!
While the world seems to have since grown tired of Jack Black's shtick, I don't think that's done much damage to Kung Fu Panda's name, and just about everyone seems to agree at the very least it's a fun time, with one of Hans Zimmer's best tracks. Now these movie tie-in video games can be a real mixed bag, ranging from great to utter garbage, so let's just get into it and find out where this one stands.
Get ready to feel the thunder.
I'm gonna be honest, the game introduces itself pretty unconvincingly with this start screen followed by the opening cutscene being a wall of scrolling text, with narration that's close enough to be able to tell it's Poe, but far away enough to be able to tell they didn't use the original movie's cast for the game.
Even the Furious Five would bow in respect to this amazing hero, the Dragon Warrior.
We're then introduced to Poe's dream, serving as the tutorial section for the game. Here we learn the main combat gameplay featuring combos of light and heavy attacks, with various enemy sizes taking a different number of hits to defeat. So in this dream, we beat the f*** out of a load of pigs and then enter ball mode to fly around the place. If you know me, you know damn well I'm a fan of this. Just pinging around like a pinball, high speed, low control, it's good fun. Then we get the game's first boss battle, this guy. At first, the battle presents itself as pretty challenging. I was taking some hits and struggling to get in many of my own. Then I realized I could just pick up a weapon off the floor and beat it to a pulp in seconds. Poe then wakes from this dream, realizing he's not a master of combat, but just a panda with a broom. Which makes the next part confusing, because on the way to watch the Dragon Warrior tournament, he beats the hell out of a bunch of pigs with axes, identical to those in his dream, to save some rabbits. So I guess even though it was a dream, it turns out the real-world Poe is just as competent at Kung Fu, even though this is the start of the story when he's not meant to be.
Doesn't make any sense. Too bad.
Look, I'll be honest, who cares? I guess the alternative would be we run around as Poe and he's not good at Kung Fu, but I doubt that would be as fun gameplay, so whatever, it's fine. So we save some rabbits, fire some ballistas to blow up balloons, do some platforming to traverse the environment while collecting fireworks. At first, I wasn't sure why we were collecting fireworks until Poe reveals his plan to blast himself over into the crowd to watch the tournament. Now, surprisingly, we switch to playing as Tigress for our second boss battle in the game. This is one of the most From Software looking things I've ever seen, and honestly, the fight is pretty good. The boss looks cool, its moves are difficult to dodge, and then when it opens its chest, we hit that, leading to some quick time events with some cool animations. Do this 3 times and the boss is defeated. We're only 20 or so minutes into the game, and we've already had 2 boss battles and played as 2 characters. While this pig is not particularly impressive, the Juggernaut battle is pretty good. You know the story. Through some crazy shenanigans and goofy circumstances, Poe is named the Dragon Warrior, which is supposed to be a big controversial moment because he's a useless panda, but as we've already discussed, in the game, he's more than capable of beating the shit out of groups of weapon-wielding enemies, so I guess it's fine. The next part of the game is probably my least favorite, and I find its presence a bit confusing. See, we already learned how to fight in the dream sequence, and we've already fought a lot outside of the dream, yet now we go to Shifu's dojo to learn the fighting controls again. There's dummies to learn light and heavy attacks on, and we gotta go through all these tutorial stages like we haven't been doing this stuff for the past half an hour. We do learn at least one new move though, the belly slam. As a big fan of Crash Bandicoot, I'm also a big fan of this move.
I am not an animal. I am Crash Bandicoot.
Another wall of text tells us Tai Lung has escaped, and we gotta help the Palace Goose travel home safely to deliver the news. Optional quest to defeat all 18 vultures. Well, I guess I'm not doing that. We do a load more fighting before heading over to the swamps to rescue these baby tortoises from the alligators. This is the Kung Fu Panda game from 2008, and it still has better water graphics than Just Cause 4. Take that as you will. I feel like these sorts of flying, dodging, front-on chase levels had a real good run in 2000s movie tie-in games. I don't really know what else to say about it. It's pretty self-explanatory. What you've already seen is kind of what the majority of the game game is from here on out, just in different environments with different enemy types. There's the mountain gorillas section with a lot of heavier enemies that are supposed to take many more hits to defeat. That is until I realized that when you're in rolling ball mode, it basically one-hit kills any enemy that isn't a boss. This means whenever a heavy enemy rocked up, I could just press the button to go into a ball and they'd be dealt with instantly. I'm assuming this was an oversight in game design because I can't imagine they'd intentionally make all of the heavy enemy combat with Poe redundant. But also, I don't know because it seems like the most obvious thing and I don't see how multiple people designed and tested the game without picking up on this loophole.
Come on, man! That's too easy!
We get to fight as Shifu, who can use clouds to fly into the air, and we run around rooftops as Master Monkey. That's one of the things I'm most impressed by here is the game lets us play different sections as different playable characters, and not only do they have their own unique moves and controls, but they all feel good to play as. Some of these movie tie-in games can't even get one character's controls right. Despite only playing like 5 minutes of the game as Master Monkey, they bothered to make him feel as free-flowing and agile to control as he should. Legendary adventure, destroy 8 trapdoor locks. I don't know if I would describe destroying 8 locks as a legendary adventure, but okay. So at the end of all this, we reach the final battle against Tai Lung. There's a couple of stages fighting against him. It's pretty straightforward until we reach the final stage when Shifu tells us we've mastered the Super Iron Belly technique. My first reaction was to go, what is the Super Iron Belly technique? After some time, I figured out that when you're blocking, you can press attack to perform the Iron Belly, and now that we've mastered Super Iron Belly, it knocks back Tai Lung like this. Here's the thing though, a lot of the time it just doesn't work. I don't know if I didn't fully understand what I was doing or if I was missing something, but sometimes it would work, while other times I'd just end up getting pummeled by Tai Lung, which is a huge problem because for some reason when they designed this boss, they gave him so much health. So it just feels unfair and broken when I repeatedly die and have to start all over because the Super Iron Belly isn't reliable. Anyway, let's move on. I don't want to end this on too sour a note because this final battle really is the only part of the game when I had the thought that I wasn't having fun. Aside from that, it's a good game. Would I put it on the same tier as Cars or the Wall-E game? Not quite. But don't get me wrong, in the world of up and down, inconsistent movie tie-in games, it's one of the good ones. Speaking of which, what's next? The Penguins of Madagascar Connect game. Oh boy. The Xbox Connect plus the Penguins of Madagascar. I'm sure that's a combination that could only result in something truly magical. I guess we'll find out next week.
I'm done! You hear me?